Hello, you fine folk. Well, we certainly didn't have to wait long for the next champion to be revealed, did we? Renata Glasc, the Chem Baroness, has found her way to PBE, and with that, her bio has also been released. That does beg the question, did she meet our expectations? How does she fit into the story of Piltover and Zaun? And how much does she expand upon Zeri, whom we talked about last time? Well, let's start by briefly summarizing her bio. Renata Glasc was born the daughter of two talented and benevolent alchemists who altruistically used their abilities to help the people of Zaun. Already a shrewd businesswoman at a young age, Renata helped finance her parents' endeavors by establishing higher rates of payment for the wealthier patients. However, her parents only used those funds to further help those in need, and when her parents were murdered by the enforcers of Piltover, who were afraid of a new formula with severe side effects they had discovered, Renata was determined to never work for such lofty ideals as altruism. Instead, she continued helping the people of Zaun, but never for free, taking their money or their loyalty in return. Slowly, word of her generosity spread even to Piltover, and today every wealthy Piltovan owns at least one Glasc industry product, and each of them hides a small compartment with the unstable chemtech formula of Renata's parents, ready to make them her pawns if needed. So, just like last time, when we evaluate Renata and her story, we need to keep in mind that we haven't seen her color story yet, and there's always the potential that there might be more coming to further expand upon her lore. With that out of the way though, let's see what's up with Renata Glasc. First of all, I think it's worth mentioning that Renata Glasc finally is the Chem Baron champion that was bound to come out at some point. The Chem Barons have been a major part of Zaun's worldbuilding for a very long time now, appearing in the stories of many different champions like Urgot or Warwick, or even featured as main characters in independent stories like the Jubilee Job from the Realms of Runeterra book. However, we've never actually seen a Chem Baron in the game before, so it's nice to finally see that spot filled. Additionally, I think it's also quite clever that Renata manages to give people that might not be super invested in the lore of League of Legends a good idea of what they can expect from the Chem Barons, since the lot she has to offer is very representative of that faction as a whole. Her association with the volatile chemtech technology, her background of poverty, and her greed and ambitions for control over Zaun. However, on the other hand, it's also nice that, while she manages to represent these unifying traits of the Chem Barons, she's not restricted to them, and brings some unique aspects to the table. I really like the concept that since her main motivation appears to be financial and political gain, she's perfectly capable of doing quote-unquote good things if they further her goals. In her story, we see her help the afflicted after a great chemical accident in Zaun, which in turn helps her gain the loyalty of the majority of Zaun's population. Her motives may be selfish, but since her actions can definitely be selfless, that's a really interesting dynamic for a villainous character. While this channel mainly talks about narrative and character analysis, and I usually leave character design and visuals to those more qualified to talk about them, I think it's also worth mentioning that she does manage to break the highly criticized design philosophies over overly sexualized and generically appealing pretty characters, as she's a woman who visibly bears muscle and signs of age, which brings a much appreciated fresh wind with it. There's a ton of good things to say about Renata Glasc. I think as a concept, she's a truly unique character that fills a role in the League of Legends universe that really had to be filled at some point. However, it feels like there's a few things missing from her bio that we expected, but of course that doesn't mean that they won't be there in the future. These are facts that might be revealed later on in her color story or anything else Riot might reveal in the coming weeks. However, let's still address these criticisms, as they really should be expanded upon in the future. The first thing is that so far, Renata doesn't have an explicit connection to Zeri yet. We expected that Zeri's story was teasing the next champion who would be a kind of rival to her and the main antagonist of her story, but so far this hasn't been confirmed yet. While Zeri has gotten a story that explains how she met Echo by now, having another champion connected to her certainly wouldn't hurt. Additionally, having a defined Chem Baron she fights against that we as players are also invested in, instead of just fighting the Chem Barons as a whole, could really increase the weight of both Zeri's and Renata's story. The character dynamic could also be really fun. The optimistic youthful rebel against the uptight manipulative mastermind is a pretty well-established trope for a reason. However, I don't think we need to worry too much about their relationship not being realized in the future. Zeri's color story had her interact with the underlings of an unnamed chem baroness, and since Zeri and Renata are coming out so close after each other, I'd really be surprised if this wasn't teasing the fact that they will become rivals in the future. The other thing, however, I'm less sure about. Let's take a moment and look at this. And this. And this. That's purple, right? Chemtech isn't purple. Chemtech is green. So this has to be Shimmer, right? It has to be! So why isn't it mentioned anywhere? Shimmer has to appear in the canon universe at some point. I mean, Mundo literally already has Shimmer in the game. I don't know what's going on. There appears to be some hesitancy to make Shimmer canon from Riot's side, and I don't really know why. I guess we'll just need to wait and see what happens in the future, because right now, I'm honestly just confused about this. Similar to Zeri, I think Renata comes with a ton of potential that can be explored in the future. I truly hope her rivalry with Zeri will be established in her color story, and perhaps her connection to Shimmer might be revealed with the next champion, who is confirmed to be a Void champion, or the potential Void event coming up. However, while these things would certainly make her even better, I think with just her bio and design, Renata is already a very solid champion that definitely deserves its place in the roster, and that only makes me more excited to see where she'll go in the future.